Welcome geniuses, I'm Genie, your best buddy for A-levels. In this channel, we'll bring you to explore the secret formula behind success.
This is a past year question from May June 2016, paper 11, related to topic 4 AS, cell membrane and transport. So this question is related to my previous teaching video where I introduced about the different types of transport across membrane. So now let's relate to the diagram and identify the structures to see if you're capable of relating the structures to its function. So number one, we know that it's actually a protein, and especially a transmembrane protein as it spans across the membrane. So this protein, there's an obvious active site, but we don't call it active site. It's known as a binding site for molecules. So this is definitely a carrier protein. And as you know that carrier protein can be used for facilitated diffusion, or it can be for active transport. So depends on the gradient. And number two, we see that the transport penetrates through the phospholipid bilayer, indicating that this is a diffusion, simple diffusion. And number three is also a diffusion, but it's in the opposite direction. And number four, it is a protein, and since this particular protein has a hydrophilic pore where it's fluid filled, so this is definitely a channel protein. And channel protein is definitely involved in facilitated diffusion. So how about this structure over here? If question asks about this, it's most likely a glycoprotein with these chains of carbohydrate protruding out from a protein. So let's relate to the question. So the question said that this is a membrane of a metabolically active cells and the direction of movement of some molecules through the membrane. So number one, it's definitely a facilitated diffusion or active transport, so cannot be diffusion. These two are out. And definitely is not osmosis, because osmosis passes through the membrane, phospholipid bilayer. So after knowing this, actually you would know the answer is definitely C, but let's continue to check. So number two, is it diffusion? Yes, it's correct because it's passing through the phospholipid bilayer. And number three, also osmosis, as the definition of osmosis is movement of water molecule down the water potential gradient through partially permeable membrane. And the last one, glucose by facilitated diffusion. This one actually is not very accurate, as glucose is supposed to be transported by carrier protein, but this is the best answer. Another clue to note in this question here is, whenever you see there's this glycoprotein, which most likely act as an antigen or receptor, so this most likely represents the outside layer of the cell. So this part of the membrane is facing outside. So the question said that this is a metabolically active cell, so they'll be producing a lot of carbon dioxide. So definitely the carbon dioxide is produced more inside the cell, and is diffusing down the concentration gradient out of the cells. So the answer is definitely C.
That's all for today's video. If you're interested in more genuine sharing by other geniuses, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to turn on the notification bell, ding dong. Also, if you're struggling with one or two past year questions and the mark scheme just doesn't seem to help, Genie has got you covered. Feel free to let us know what question it is by filling in the Google form linked in the description below. GenieUs Hub will get genius teachers to fulfill your request for the solution. Genie will see you next time. Bye-bye.